You need to understand how Israel gets away with genocide, international extortion, with running the United States of America into the ground and bleeding her to death through the Federal Reserve. And you want to see the face of evil? Look at Ben Bernanke's face. No, he's not the top, but he's the face of it, all of it. It's all run from the City of London banking cartel. Don't buy into any other excuse. I've studied this for nearly 30 years. Dr. Tilawi has spent a lifetime studying it. Read the work of Theodor Herzl. One of the goals of organized Zionism was to take charge of Orthodox Judaism and control it, and bring all of those people into the programmed mindset that Israel's right to exist was paramount and is paramount on the planet, as are the chosen elite of God, him or herself, the Jewish people. This has all been accomplished in the last 100 years. That's why there are organizations like Jews Against Zionism and others, and the heroic Mordecai Vanunu and other Israelis, Jewish, Christian, atheist, Arab, it doesn't matter. There are a lot of people who understand what's going on, and many of them are basically even held captive in Israel. They can't speak out. Many do. There are heroes over there, and we need to honor those people. Here's what Vanunu said when Dr. Tilawi asked him. The question is this from Dr. Tilawi. One of the Israeli professors said a few months ago that, quote, we have the nuclear capability of hitting every major European city, end quote. Is that true to your knowledge? And Mr. Vanunu said, yes, it is true. They, the Zionist Israelis, can bombard any city all over the world, and not only those in Europe, but also those in the United States. And by this threat, what they are doing is to send a secret message to any leader and to any government that they have the ability to use them aggressively and to blackmail them, to blackmail Europe and the United States. Everywhere, in every state around the world. It was Europe and the United States who helped them get this power. And now that Israel has it, she is coming back and saying to them, we will not obey any orders that you give us, no international law, no international agreement, no UN resolutions. And all because of these atomic weapons that they have. Mordecai Vanunu. He said it all. It's what the Air Force White Paper said. It's what I've been trying to tell people. This is the bottom line answer as to how it's all being done. Hesham, go ahead.
And Jeff, if we look at the history of Israel, it has very much stumped over all UN resolutions against what they're doing. International law, they have broken international law. As a matter of fact, with the massacre that actually today is the first anniversary of that massacre on the Palestinians in Gaza, the United Nations Human Rights Commission have found Israel guilty of war crimes. And as a matter of fact, Vanunu is trying to change the law with the Fourth Geneva Convention, where it states that civilians are actually protected during wartime. And it's a crime to kill civilians. Of course, Israel has deliberately killed civilians, and that's why they were found guilty of war crimes. Now they want to change that. As soon as the United Nations Commission, Human Rights Commission, has actually said that about Israel, Netanyahu assembled a team of attorneys to change the law. Now, last week or the week before, I don't know when Obama accepted the Peace Prize, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
I mean, longer than that, but whatever.
About 3 weeks ago, whatever. Just recently. In his speech, unfortunately, not too many people saw that, and not too many people actually said anything about it. In his speech, and I don't have his speech right here in front of me, but you can go on the internet and look up the speech where he talks about where it's vague, the picture between combatants and civilians, that there's ambiguity, of how to differentiate between the two. It's there. It's in his speech. Now, of course, it is not clear and right there in your face like I just said it. But you can read it, and I wish if I had, I did not think I was going to be mentioning this, otherwise I would have had it in front of me to give you the exact quotation. But for that idea to make it into Obama's speech, what Netanyahu wants is to tell the world that wars right now is different than wars when the Germans and the British were meeting in the in Egypt. Right now, it's like you have civilians. So civilians are part of the combatants, are part of they're soldiers. So killing them is just like killing any soldier. And that idea surfaced in Obama's speech, and that's shocking for it to be there.
Right.
But anyway, you did mention John Kennedy and that he was killed by the Zionists. Actually, there are a few theories out there, and I happen to, I don't want to say stumbled upon because the information was there. But back in September, and we did talk about this on your program, I don't know if it, a couple of months back, probably in September, and I wrote an article about this, of why Kennedy was killed. And as a matter of fact, people can go on YouTube and just Google in a television program. People talk about the Federal Reserve, which is, sure, there's a good and a valid story there where he tried to actually change the Federal Reserve because he saw that the Federal Reserve Bank was a threat to our own existence as United States of America. He also did not like the nuclear program that Israel was doing. But he was doing something else that wasn't so publicized. He wanted to stop the American Zionist Council. Now, the American Zionist Council is it was replaced by AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. The organization prior to that was known as the American Zionist Council, which was operating exactly like what AIPAC was.
Interesting, and we have a break, but
the American Zionist Council was very much the one running the country as AIPAC does today. And JFK understood that, and his brother. So they wanted to stop this organization that was running the country called the American Zionist Council that was controlling our senators, controlling our congressmen, but he had to go. After JFK, now we had a lot of people actually in Congress at that time who were brave enough to criticize the Israel lobby at that time. After the assassination of John F. Kennedy, that was basically, it was the end of it. You find one congressman here and there that actually still criticizing Israel,
right.
Like Dennis Kucinich every once in a while.
That's when the anti-Semite hammer began to be used on everyone to bludgeon them into submission.
Well, too many, not just of course, that's the killer. That's the weapons of mass destruction, which is when they label you by being an anti-Semite, that means the end of everything you're doing, your business, your future, your family, everything. And, just now, James Trafficant, he's out of jail, and I understand, he's locked to get back in the race again.
Yes, let's hope he makes it, boy. That would be great. A real
Sure,
American,
it will be great, and we will see exactly how these people operate. And this is, in my opinion, why John F. Kennedy had to go, because if he would have succeeded in having the American Zionist Council register as an agent of a foreign state, an agent of a foreign country, then everything they're doing has to be recorded. It has to be up and up. They cannot be involved in our elections here. They were agents. They cannot be bribing our congressmen and senators. They cannot be lobbying them. Well, they can't lobby. I mean, foreign countries can lobby. But everything they do, it has to be recorded. And that's one thing that the Zionists in the United States could not afford. And John F. K. had to go because he was about to stop them. But
and look, absolutely, and look Every time, and you folks listening know this, and hopefully you newcomers will pay attention. Every time an American political leader goes to address AIPAC, and that's an annual event, the American Israeli Political Action Committee, AIPAC, they practically get on their knees. It is so disgusting. And it is said that unless anyone running for major political office is vetted and approved by AIPAC, the JDL, the ADL, B'nai B'rith, and all the other Zionist organizations, they get no money and they don't have a chance.